Hi.
Welcome to Book 101, Miss Danielle. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
Sure. Thank you for having me. Um, I am a life and health coach. I work with women 40 and beyond, and I'm an American from California. I live in London, UK, and I've been working in the health and life coaching space for I think it's going on 9 years now. And before that, I was coaching and mentoring in my corporate career. But I came to this, like, really have found so much passion in doing this because I really want to help women, to help empower them to live more boldly and to also just understand what is midlife and what they can do about just making the experience so much better than what it was for me.
Miss Danielle Mccurdy, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge to the world, helping women glow up to their 40s and beyond. Can you tell us about this?
Yes. Well, my story has a big influence on why I say this. Around 40, I started to have symptoms of perimenopause, and this is 12 years ago. And back then, it was actually really different than it is now. It's come a long way, but it's not where it needs to be. And I went to the doctor in California and asked him what was going on because I had started to gain weight, like 1 to 2 pounds a month. And I was still eating really healthy, exercising, everything I'd always done to maintain really good, healthy lifestyle. And he told me it's only going to get worse. He didn't put a name on it besides just getting older and your hormones changing. And he told me that I would gain a lot of weight by the time I was 50 and that I would have it mostly in the middle. I would lose my hair. I would have less energy. So he made it sound quite horrible. And I tried everything to learn what I could about what was going on with me. And there was just also quite a stigma around saying perimenopause or menopause, midlife. So I did spend a lot of my 40s quite lost with my health. I did gain a lot of weight and lost my energy and kind of lost my confidence, but my glow. And that coupled with other things that I had going on, moving around the world, two small kids, a marriage that was really struggling, it took a toll on me. And so when I was in my late 40s, I just decided enough is enough. And I finally put everything into place that I had been studying and learning about as a student of nutrition and coaching and mindset, yoga, movement. And I lost the weight and I was able to just not only lose the weight, but get strong again mentally and physically and feel present and part of my life again. And like I was in the driver's seat and make choices that led to a complete, I would say, glow up, but also just a whole life flip, a complete pivot that I'm so grateful for. And 5 years later, it's something that I'm really passionate about helping other women to slow down enough. And whether it's weight loss or it's just calming down their nervous system, whatever it is, so that they can also slow down enough to figure out what's next so they can feel better.
Miss Danielle, you truly glowing right now. So, what
Thank
does
you.
aging boldly mean to you?
Mm, that's a really great question. One of the thing is that I think it's about really understanding that we have what society is probably telling us is the narrative of what life will look like after 40, that you should kind of fade into the background, that you might plateau in your career, or as I was told, you're going to gain weight, have less energy, less hair, all of the things. And I want us to flip that script. I want us to be the generation that's really challenging that, but not only in a way that's just saying like lip service, but actually showing the younger generations that you can do it, showing ourselves so that we have a completely different lived experience. And embodying that this is our prime, not the wind down. This isn't like the beginning of the end. This is just a new chapter. I call it the second half, the best half.
The best half of your life, people.
Mm.
So don't be afraid to age. Why do so
Exactly.
many people start playing small as they get older?
Mm. I think that a lot of this, if I speak for women, I can speak for myself, but also so many of my clients and friends, is that we are conditioned to feel that our career um, and our family and basically to prioritize everybody else. And even if we're not conditioned for it, I think a lot of it might just be built into us, that maternal side. I've had it since I was a little girl. But it's really about we get to a point where we are feeling so burned out and pulled in so many directions because we're not only having hormonal physical changes, which are not only physical, they're mental, right? Like your hormones are really affecting the way you deal with everything. You might have children in the house still. I have teenagers. I'm going through perimenopause and menopause teenagers. Um, you might have aging parents, might be in a relationship that's doing great, hopefully, but also it might be struggling under the burden of everything and a career that's really pulling you. And so when you're doing that, but you also have these so much going at you and you're just feeling burned out. That is the biggest thing is you're pulled in so many directions. You also have these physical changes happening because of your hormonal balance or imbalance. And you're exhausted. And you go into kind of maybe people pleasing old habits of survival and rather than thriving, rather than taking up space, you're kind of shrinking a bit. And it happens so slowly that you might not notice until down the road.
Yes, indeed. So, Miss Danielle, how can someone shift their mindset about aging from
Mm.
fear to empowerment?
Yeah. Well, this is where I think that mindset really helps. And so when I first started out coaching, I studied yoga and nutrition. I was always really passionate about both of these, and I still am. But I realized when I was working with clients that nutrition wasn't the only piece. There was something missing, and it was figuring out how to help people kind of navigate like the women I work with are very smart. They're driven, they're educated, they're tuned in. They know, like, in general, they might need some help, but they know what works for their body, what feels right. They're aware, but it's actually mindset that comes in to help them because they don't know why they can't stick to it. They're like, I know how to work out, what to do, what to eat, but by 6 o'clock, I'm exhausted and I just go for the opposite of what I planned to eat. Like I don't make decisions that I would have made at 8 in the morning, but I don't know how to change it. And that's where mindset can help so much and help you to really slow down, create awareness. And it's not about mantras. I love mantras, I love vision boards, but it's about doing other work, thought work. And I use something called the model, which is from the life coach school. And it's where I was certified for one of my coaching certifications. And it really helps you to slow down and break down what your thoughts are based on a circumstance in your life and how that is creating the results in your life. And that's something that completely started the trajectory of change in my life in my mid 40s. And so I want to help women using the model, which is like mindset, to find those thoughts that are probably sabotaging their results despite their best intentions. And it's things like being stuck in scarcity or fear or I'm too old. So,
I'm too old to do this for the
yeah.
mindset. So, what is
Mm.
the first step to stepping into your next chapter with confidence?
That's great. I think that the most important thing is to first decide that you want a next chapter. And that is going a little bit into the woo-woo, but it's really about deciding what that is and what it looks like. And again, this is just giving a woman enough time to slow down and just to calm her nervous system, find ways to do that so that she can, I say it's like, start to hear the whispers of what she really, really wants and desires. And it might be just one or two yoga classes every week, right? That could be the start of what you just want that, or to get away for a walk in the quiet. I think that that's like really the first thing. And then it's also to really next is to get into action of how that can happen. And if it's a really big goal, imagine then maybe you have to start small, but it can just be building the skills that will get you there. So it might be starting with getting to the yoga class, but that is something that you know is going to help you to, I don't know, run a marathon or whatever it is, something else. But the whole thing is, what is it that you have to do? Because they might feel like that's going to be so hard because so many demands and everybody's always going to pull you in 100 directions and you'll have to cancel. So that's where we get into building boundaries and learning to hold those boundaries and learning to have more empowered communication with those that are you need to have the boundaries with. So I don't know if that makes sense, but it's really about helping her to start to advocate for herself for exactly what she needs in her world, take up more space, and feel really good about that because it's the right thing to do.
Miss Danielle, as a woman reinvention coach, what are your short term and long term goals?
Mm. My long-term goal and short-term really is to help more women every single day to step into their most empowered self. And again, even if it's the smallest thing that she does, book that yoga class or book that retreat or whatever it is, start to think about taking that courageous step to go back to college or university for the second career, whatever it is. And just, I think for me, it's to show them what's possible and to really get them to start going, this can happen. This is possible for me too. And that she understands that her next chapter is just as, I want to say possible. It's like, I don't know, just as, I don't know, to give her the hope and belief that she can start dreaming about that and put it into place.
Indeed, good luck to your goals, Miss Danielle. And if you could give one piece of advice for creating a fearless, vibrant next chapter, what would
Mhm.
it be?
I would say is to like get rid of all of the shoulds. If you had no shoulds left in your life and you just like didn't have any labels, especially the labels of I'm too old or this is silly. When you want to do a ballet class, there's no reason why you can't do that at 55 or 45. And then it's really just about looking at what your true desires are through that filter of like removing everything and just your most authentic self and see what you come up with then. And then that I think that that really helps us to step back into our true self and being able to age really, really boldly for the rest of our next half of our life.
Thank you for your advice, Miss Danielle. And how do you break free from limiting belief tied to age?
Mm. You know what is the most simple thing to do is you can either, if you're really self-aware, just take a piece of paper or open up a note in your phone, and for a couple of days, just write down any thoughts that you have about aging, right? Just write them down. The sentences in your head. You don't have to do anything else with them. Just keep an inventory going. If you don't, that doesn't work for you, you could also journal. like for a couple of days, for 5 minutes, about what you think about aging and yourself, as how are you aging, and maybe how your mother or your grandmother aged, and just all of the things you think about it. And because this way you can start to see what your philosophy and what your psychology is behind it. And you just want to, or you can have friends or your partner tell you, what do I typically say about getting old, right? So you really want to kind of take a full inventory, get that down, and then challenge them. You really want to see, like, if it's like, I can't go to a ballet class because I'm too old. Why? Why not? And keep asking why. But why? Every answer you give yourself, why? That I think is the really, like, the best thing, because awareness is the first step. And then one other thing I would say is, like, look for people that expand your world. So if everyone that's around you is kind of aging in the way that you don't want to, I want you to go on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is, Google, find other people out there that show you how they've aged differently. So, I mean, there are so many people I follow that are women in their 70s and 80s that are weightlifting or running marathons or going back to school, and just anybody that is really inspiring and showing you a different way. And especially if it aligns with things that you, because if you find interest in it, it's because you see that in yourself, that potential. So you want to find those examples out in the world for yourself also, and keep reinforcing that it's possible.
Indeed, Miss Danielle, it's okay to old or aging gracefully. How do you
Yeah.
handle yes, how do you handle societal pressure that say you should slow down as you get older?
Mm. I think that's where we go back to, like, really taking up space, and just society is going to tell you one thing, and that's going to come also from not only from yourself, but also from the people in your circle, right? And I think that it's really about questioning it, and you just focusing on what it is that you desire for your life. And just remembering that we don't have to do anything that society tells us. I mean, we choose how much out of society we want to go. But I think it's really about thinking about all of the people in the world that challenged what society told them is was appropriate at the time, and how they positively changed the world. You can do that for yourself if you don't want to do it on a big scale, how you can do it for yourself. But I think it's just, if somebody gives you their own opinion, you can just say, thank you so much. And but you don't have to take that on. And you don't have to take on the shoulds. We are not, we're done shoulding as midlife women. We're done with that.
Yes, totally agree with you, Miss Danielle. What are
Good.
some powerful affirmations or mantras for aging boldly?
Oh, I love that. I think it's one of them is, I can. I can fill in the blank, or if it's, I think it's just remembering that I, it's a really good one. Maybe it's something to remember is every day is that I'm doing this differently. I'm capable of doing this differently. I'm not the carbon copy of X person. I mean, I feel like a lot of women, we have somebody in our family that we love dearly, but we don't want to follow in their footsteps. So it's like, for me, I don't want to follow in the footsteps of my mother and my maternal grandmother, because they had a lot of health issues and died, both of them, from dementia. So it's why, one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about health. And so I do constantly say, like, I'm not the same as them. I embody, like, the beautiful things of those women, but I also, the physical things that brought them to their lifestyle related diseases, unfortunately. are not things that I've taken on at all, especially by this age. They were sick much younger. And so I think it's just focusing on what you need to believe more and then embodying that. So I am my own person. I am healthy, wealthy, vibrant. So things like that. I just, I am, and fill in the blank.
Yes, I am aging gracefully. So,
Yeah.
Miss Danielle, how important is community and support when stepping into a bold new phase?
That's a really great question. So, having a strong community is actually one of the main markers of having a long, healthy life. And so it's so important not only for that, just like longevity and happiness also, but I think that it's so important for as we're trying to execute change or transformation. And so you've probably heard, I forget who the quote comes from, but I think it's one of these personal development guys, but back in the I don't remember, but it's that you are the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And so you want to think about your circle of influence and how that's affecting you, or like how it's supporting you, or how it's maybe destabilizing you. And listen, the 2 of the people I spend most of my time with are 2 teenage girls, and they're gorgeous, my daughters, but they're teenage girls. They're like up and down.
Yes.
And so it doesn't mean that that's like negatively impacting my life, but I make sure that I have others that I'm constantly in contact with that are positive and empowering. And if you don't have that in your life right now, for example, like, everyone, like, you feel like you really do need a full change, you can still, what? Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, okay. It went off. You can still find that even with podcasts like this, Daniel, or with audiobooks or different you can find mentors and people that are positively influencing you, even if you don't know them. You just tell yourself like Daniel Lucas's podcast and Daniel is my mentor, or Mel Robbins or whomever it is. So
Very well said, Miss Danielle. Before we wrap up our
mhm.
discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, book 101 review in its fifth season itself, and comedy 101 second season, and food 101 in its fifth season too,
Uh,
geography 101 and love letters and third season, my baby podcast, mental health 101 and Movie 101 Review and Music 101 in its fourth season and Science and Sex 101 in its first season. Please do listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Danielle, what role does physical health and energy play in feeling bold and powerful as we age?
mm. Um, Well, it's absolutely so important, just like we talked about community. It's also important that you are moving your body every single day. And that is, I just say that exercise is life. It's what, like, when you go for a walk or you strength train or whatever it is, it's basically, I say, it's like your body telling your brain, hey, I'm here. And your brain's like, yeah, I'm here too. What's up? So you want to make sure that you're constantly still getting that exercise, even if it's just a 10-minute walk in the morning and one in the evening, getting up every 45 minutes to do 5 squats or whatever it is, but you still want to be moving. It has a massive impact on your mental health and your hormones as a female. And second, for nutrition, everything that we want, in the sense, if we want to feel better, if we want to have like just less inflammation, puffiness, pain, all of it. It's so linked up with what you're eating, and eating a whole foods diet, cutting out the ultra processed food, all of it. And those two are so important. If you're looking to lose weight, that nutrition is over 80% of the equation now, as they say. but you need that exercise also for, I think, just keeping up the healthy brain and feeling energetic. And the last thing, Daniel, for all of this is when you're eating well and you're moving, and especially like getting strength training, you're going to feel bolder because you're going to feel more awake, going to feel more vibrant. And I think as a midlife woman, more sexy. And you're just going to feel like, I mean, that's something to just get out and you can wear the clothes you want again and feel good in them. It's just, there's nothing like feeling good in your body. And honestly, I say I feel better now at 52 than I did in my 30s, which is amazing. So,
Miss Danielle Mccurdy, you're glowing at the age of
thank
50
you.
and keep at the good works. So, can you
Thank
please
you.
invite our listeners to support your business itself?
Yes, please. You can find me on Instagram at daniellemccurdycoaching.com. And if you would like to go schedule, you can click a link in there and schedule a free 1 hour session with me. And we can talk about where you're at and where you're looking to go.
Yes, people, I support Miss Danielle McCurdy because if you support her, more and more and more glowing coaching to come. So, Miss Danielle, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Take care.
More to come, people. See you soon.